Zach, did you open for Chris Webby 2 years ago?
I've done like like 4 shows with him at this point. Yeah.
So I saw you at that show, and I remember you coming out, and you blew me away, dude. You're like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do what the rest of these cats did, and like, I made these beats, I'm gonna spit on these beats, and there ain't no backing. Like, we're gonna do this the real way, and I respected that so much.
Thank you, man. Okay, so
and make sure you keep that part in. We'll redo the intro real quick.
Yeah.
Of the world. It's me, Nat, and Zach, and we have 90. And 90 just gave Zach a compliment that he's going to edit into this part. Continue.
I was just talking with someone about that, a really close friend. That show was like, yeah, that I don't know. That was an opportunity that I now recognize, like, as I've gotten a little bit older and a bit more mature, that I didn't really deserve that fully. Like, there's a lot of other rappers from that city, I'm sure, that are way bigger than me that should have been on that stage that night. But that, I don't know. I'm very grateful for that, is what I'm saying. Like I'm getting across. I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity that night. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you joined us on the phone, we were just talking about the ice storm that we recently had in this part of the province.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter normally lives not far from Zach at all, 5 minutes down the street, and I share half custody with her mother. But she spent a lot more time with me because there was no electricity up there, no telephones up there, no way to get in and out of a lot of the roads. And Zach was somehow miraculously able to send me, with very little data, a picture of what was going on in his world last week, and it looked horrendous.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. So Saturday during the day before everything got crazy, something in my head just told me, like, as I was pulling up to my house, it was like, don't go into your parking lot, just like do your driveway. Sorry, just like park on the road. Something just told me to do that. So, or not on the road, and the other parking spot, because there's 2 driveways in my house. So I was like, just go on the other one. I don't know why, but I did. And then I go outside later that night because I start hearing a bunch of stuff falling on the house. So I'm like, oh, this can't be good. And there's just a massive tree has fallen right into my driveway and like all across my front lawn. So I can't, I don't know if there's screen sharing on here. Obviously the listeners won't be able to see the screen sharing anyway, but there's like, it's just a tree. It was a tree in the driveway. It's gone now, thankfully. But yeah, I could very well not have a car anymore because it was just literally a whole tree in the driveway.
That's wild.
And my grandmother lives north of Peterborough, is 90, and was without power for, I think, 5 days. And I think around day 3, they have really great neighbors, by the way, because their driveway was blocked and their neighbors cut the trees for them so that they could go to town and stay in a motel for a couple nights.
Nice. Solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love small town stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wholesome stuff, right?
And Midtown stuff too. This past Saturday, I want to talk about this event that we had before we get into our interview. I had what was my favorite show in recent memory. I don't know if it's my favorite show of all time, but it's like top 5. Definitely wasn't biggest, but the quality of the people both on stage and in the audience was exactly what you want for a venue that size.
Perfect.
And the energy that was in that room was just unmatched to anything that I've been a part of, big or small, in recent memory. So
I love that.
Yeah.
You can tell when I'm DJing if I'm bored or if I'm having fun, and usually by how much I'm moving around and if I know any of the words and I'm singing along and stuff. By the last song, I had a mic, and I was rapping Dylan's verses from 420 clicks so Nate could take some breaths, and it was a blast. Free LB, by the way. And then at the end of the show, I started it off with while people are still drinking, I started off my set with our Bishop Agrante drop from the radio show. and straight into FDT by YG and Nipsey Hussle. Oshawa is an automotive town, and we very much do not like Donald Trump at the moment because he's got us all on eggshells. But what's good there was I was able to drop out the vocals after the first verse and chorus, and then bring in an LB acapella over the FDT beat, and the place lost their fucking mind. It was a lot of fun, and I hope I get to do it again there with the same people or similar people and the same people in the audience, because it was awesome. Shout out to Eddie Jones, B1, Ulysses, Zays, Nico, and anybody else that was featured on stage and helped out. It was an amazing event, so thank you. And without further ado, from Lost Cause, we have 90.
What's going on?
I think you and I met a year and a half ago in Oshawa.
Yep, on the Lost Cause tour.
I think that was a Fox and the Goose show.
Yes, I think so.
And you guys have a pretty unique business model and music style, I would say. The collective of Lost Cause is a few individual artists that have their own individual unique sounds, but as a collective, there's a sound for it too, right? You know what I mean? Like there's definitely a theme or a vibe to that show.
We make sense together, but like we also have our standalone stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a cool brand, and I guess you'd call it a movement almost.
Yeah.
And I've watched you guys grow over the last, I want to say 2 years.
2.5. I've been apart for about 2 years, maybe 3 years. Jonas Brown started it, and like shout out to Jonas, he's killing it. Like he just booked Kripel for 3 shows in Ontario here. He just announced that today, so like super excited for that.
And you guys took Maloney across the country, right?
Yeah.
Which
they did a what was it, a battle in Alberta.
Dope.
And Maloney went across for that. Ajax was the artist that was in the battle from Lost Cause, and I didn't get to go. Like I just had a baby 7 months ago, so like I've been full dad mode lately. But the dudes, like everyone's just trying to get the work in. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to get your 10,000 hours at 15-minute sets. So everyone's just trying to put in your work where you can, right?
Yeah,
well, and that's what I think is unique about your group is that a lot of people will do shows in their hometown on their own. A lot of people will pay a lot of money to open for bigger shows. There's not a lot of people that are taking the do-it-yourself touring approach like Lost Cause does.
Yeah, so I just went to Seneca Polytechnic for independent music production. And that course is designed for independent artists and how to be successful as an indie artist, right? So I started working really hands-on with Jonas because he already had something great. So it's like, what if we took my math and science and put it with your magic?
Right.
And it really kicked off. And like, just like any collective, like we've had times where we butt heads and like we didn't see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, we're still family. Exactly. Right? Like we just had a baby shower here for Lost Cause members. Like it was kind of wild. Like it was sewing needles and neck tattoos. Right? It was a weird demographic, but it worked because we're family, right?
Yeah.
And then we finished it by printing a bunch of merch. So when the baby shower was over, we spent the next 4 hours printing 150 t-shirts.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's fantastic. So obviously you were into music before Lost Cause. Let's hit rewind for a moment and take us back to your childhood. Where were you and when did you fall in love with hip hop?
So even before hip hop, I remember listening to Hey Mickey on record. One of my earliest moments of music.
You're so fine, you blow my mind.
Hey Mickey. Yeah, dude. I remember Rockin' Robin. I remember like I grew up with 3 sisters. My mom was a music head.
Yeah.
Right. Like movies in the house were like Sister Act.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I grew up with music all around me. I didn't
You
really
were like
start.
3 years old watching Lauryn Hill and you didn't even know it.
No, exactly. Like I had
Yeah.
no idea what was going on until like one day it clicked, and I was like, "Oh, my mom kind of like a music head, but she just wasn't open about it." Right? And it really kicked off when she passed away. So in 2013, she died from cirrhosis of the liver, and I just dove in to writing. Like that's the only way I could really get through it. And it worked. Like it's been therapy for me ever since. It actually inspired my hip hop name, my studio company, the 9 Dimensions of Wellness. If any of you guys know what that is, it's basically 9 rules to make you a better person or feel like a better person.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's basically like the Bible for ex-addicts. Is the way I look at it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? It's the 9 commandments. If you follow this very loose structure of things, you're gonna have a better day, a better year. You know what I mean? A better life,
Okay.
right?
So back to your name 9D. I analyzed it a little bit before we got on the air. I looked at your profile. I'm like, okay, Dalton, so D.
Yep.
But he's also born in 1990, so 9D.
Yeah.
And then you said 9th dimension. Is this like a 10-time entendre with your
Yeah.
name? Or how-
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few meanings to it for sure. Anytime I get asked about it, I usually get the dick joke.
I
That's
didn't even
usually the
think it crossed
go-to.
My mind.
Yeah. That's usually the go-to, and it even inspired an OnlyFans because I was sick of getting asked at shows if I had an OnlyFans, so I did that for like a week.
Did you make any money?
I made some money.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I made some money for pictures I already had. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it lasted a minute. Like I wasn't. I actually just got a notification a couple weeks ago. It's like your shit's about to be suspended. So I threw a picture on there. Give me another year.
Right, what a fucking play.
Yeah, I'm a little jack of all. Like I kind of do a little bit of everything because
Okay.
I'm an ADHD nightmare. Like I've just got to be doing 10 things at all
Fair.
times. And it just gets me through the day.
So you produce, you
Yep.
engineer.
Yep, I write, produce, engineer, mix, master, like live sound. I do setup. I do freelance. I do visual art stuff. Yeah, I do too many damn things. I tattoo now. I just got my mother-in-law's a tattoo artist for 30 years. She just gave me her gun, so like I just did my hand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I literally do everything. If you'll put it in front of me, I'll try it once.
Hey, and obviously,
I love that.
if you like it, you keep doing it and you get good at it. So
Right? So like I've already covered. I just want it to be free. Shit's expensive. It is, man. I've got like 50 hours worth of sitting
okay.
and like thousands of dollars. And like if I can do this for free, I'm gonna get covered for free. That's the play.
Smart.
So when you first started making your own music, what was your first performance opportunity? How'd that work out?
So I did music like super low key for about a decade.
Okay.
Just kind of for myself, and had a Facebook page that was like just family.
Okay.
Right? It was like, I don't know. It got up to like 100 people. And then one of my coworkers, he started a record label, and it was just a little indie label, but it was an alternative label. So they had like bands and stuff.
Okay.
So I signed to them, and I did my first album with them. So that whole Memory Lane album was with Alternative Records.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And that kind of why I went that route, and I did like the MGK thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because that's what it gets compared to. Like, what if Blink-182 and Sum 41 had a rapper?
Right.
That's kind of what I make, right? My justification was I make urban music, right? Like mixing punk with hip hop. It's just,
I kind of called it surfer rap when I was at the Lost Cause show last fall.
yeah, that's fair.
Like I can picture you guys like, honestly, and you could probably pull it off based on where you guys live, like a beach show in the summer.
Yeah, so Jonas Brown is actually
Their feet
competing
and
for
shit
the
like
Salt
that.
Beach party.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be like a really great fit for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about just vibing and having a good time,
Mm.
right? Like, so we do shows here in Owen Sound at a place called the Harb, and
Yep.
it has a bad rep. Like,
'Cause of
think that
upstairs?
the Double Deuce from Roadhouse. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's got a bad rep. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks you're gonna get into a fight. I've been doing shows there for 2.5 years, and there's never been a fist fight at one of my shows, or at one of the Lost Cause shows, at one of the Carnivore Media shows. Any show that we work at, there's not an altercation.
I've done, I want to say 5 or 6 shows there with someone I won't shout out, but there was never any problems there either.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right on.
I think I know who you're talking about, and
Fair.
I might be working with them for the first time
Oh,
coming
good.
up. Yeah. So I've heard. So I've heard. That being said, I used to have a bad rep back in the day before all the music thing. Like
Yeah.
I was a whole different human being.
Mhm.
You know, so like some of it I give it touch and go, and I try to make my own decisions, but
Yeah.
you're only gonna burn me once.
But yeah, speaking on the Harb, I think what at least when I came there the first time, it was right before, it was the last show they had before COVID actually.
Right.
I went up there to DJ for Shiz,
Yep.
and I think that's the night we shot the Swan Flu Cypher.
Okay.
And Young Stitch was there, and I remember driving up to Owen Sound, up the 400, and Shizzy's on her phone. She's like, "Flights to Florida are like $19." I was like, "Oh shit, book us something." And then
Yeah.
like, this doesn't seem right. So I put on 680 News, and I'm like, doesn't sound good at all. And then
Right.
we get to Owen Sound, and I think there's like a Montana's where there's like a Winners and stuff. And we're sitting in the Montana's watching the TV, and it's like, oh, NBA just canceled their season. Oh, NHL just canceled their season.
Mhm.
OHL just canceled their season.
Right.
Let's go to the Harb and do a show. And I remember like everybody joking about it between songs and stuff when they were on their sets, and they probably sold more single bottles of Corona that night than they ever had at that bar. And I can remember the show ending and it being a long drive back to Oshawa, and I had Shizzy and Jay Hen with me, and I said, "Let's go, we gotta go." And they were like, "Everyone's going upstairs to the strip club," and I was like,
Yeah.
I got shit to do tomorrow, we gotta go home.
Right.
If I knew that I wouldn't be allowed to go out for 2 years after that,
You would have went upstairs.
I would have went upstairs.
Yeah.
I would have stayed all night. Like
You would have had a wild time too, man.
I would have
Upstairs is
I would have made-
crazy.
I would have got the biggest bang for my buck out of that bar, because I was also so newly single after 12 years of marriage.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to go out for 2 years.
You would have left singing T-Pain songs. That's for damn sure.
Exactly.
You would have left singing T-Pain songs. My God.
And I can remember like a year later, the memory popping up on Facebook and being like, yeah, and I just wanted to go home after that show. Fuck.
So wait, hold on. Did you do the Swifty show?
Yes.
So that's where it started for me.
Okay.
As far as performing, I met Jonas Brown at that show.
Oh, really?
My producer at the time, Justin Angel, who ran Alternative Route Records and still does.
Mhm.
He's actually Juicer the producer now, and he does stuff with Doc Did It.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I met Jonas, and that's where we kicked it off, and that's where it all really started off, because I was against performing.
Okay.
Why?
So I boxed. I've seen the stage. I didn't want the politics. I wasn't about that. I was about let me write.
Just a
Right,
creative
like-
outlet.
Yeah, I
And
needed it for
performance
therapy,
might Power that.
right? That was my gratitudes. Let me write. Let me pen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I didn't want to make it a spectacle, and like I've been the flashy, braggadocious, pompous guy in my life already. Now I'm a father of 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not really that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
You know what I mean?
You know who
Like,
you are.
If you're the same person when you're 35 that you were when you're 25, you wasted 10 years.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. right? And like I still hold on to my youth. I wish I could hold on to my hairline that way, but I can't.
I hear you, man. I wish
Right? No, man.
White.
Oh yeah, look like Andy Samberg in this Lonely Island, man. I'm telling you.
It's the peak of intelligence.
Yeah, right. Now, my shit look like a McDonald's logo. It's wild. It's wild.
Just bald it off then. Bald it off.
No, I do. I was gonna do it right before this, and I was like, oh, I don't got time. So I said, screw it. I'm going with the quick hat. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. You just released something new, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's called Why?
Yes, it is.
So tell me about that.
So that was my final project for school.
Oh,
So I actually got to work with Alfio Annabellini. He is the producer of the Arkells.
Oh, sick.
wow.
Yeah. So like I co-produced that with him. That's my life's work if I were to sum it up. That's basically my story, right? It's all the bullshit and all the pain summed up into why I do this, because
Right.
that story is the motivation. That's the best way for me to explain it, right? And like it's the first single on my next album that's coming out probably late this year, called Obsidian.
Okay,
So from destruction can come something beautiful,
Right.
absolutely.
right? And that's kind of what that song is, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it was hard to write. It took me like 6 weeks to track that first verse because I
Yeah.
couldn't get through it emotionally.
Yeah.
Every time I try to spit it, I'm like, okay.
Yep, gotta take a minute.
Yeah, it was like watching me like John Q on repeat.
That means it's real and it's good when it makes you feel that way.
Yes and no. So like it's a good performance song, but it's not a great listening song. Like that one was for me,
Right.
right? And if you're a hip hop head, sure, you'll appreciate the storytelling.
Mhm.
But outside of that, it's not very, we'll say, mainstream, and you know what I mean? It wasn't for everybody. That one was for me.
Doesn't matter. If it was for you, it's yours.
That's
it's out
the-
there. Whoever
That's the
wants to
best
listen,
kind of art.
find something that they can,
Right? And that's why I
from it, and you did something.
yeah, and that's why I loved like going with the 90 moniker, because that's what it was about.
Mhm.
Right? Like I may not do the traditional 90 boom bap style. Not saying that that's not in the bag, because that's what I grew up on. You know what I mean? But like I like just honoring being genuine to who I am.
Mhm.
Right? If I feel like doing a punk song, I'm gonna do a punk song.
Yeah.
If I want to do a country
You
song, I'm
could
gonna do
do
a
it.
country song. Like it's just the vibe, right? If a beat come on, I'm gonna do it.
I think some of the best music is not in 4/4 time,
Yeah,
and it's not 12-tone music either.
right.
If you put yourself into constraints that you think that people will like, you're not going to get the realest version of yourself or the best art.
I totally agree. So like one of my favorite band is
Could you
Queen.
imagine if Jay Dilla said, I'm going to hit Quantize because everyone else does?
For real though. You're not wrong. Right? But people don't look at it that way, right? Like there's so many subgenres within subgenres now that like you can classify anything
Yeah.
without even being specific,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so
right?
true.
It's made the indie scene very, we'll just say washed. Like there's a billion of me, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like anyone can do it and anyone can put it up. What separates the classes, we'll say, is the work.
Mm.
And
It's
also
literally putting in the work.
pushing the boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the songs that become your favorite aren't easy to listen to the first time either.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where I'll hear a song and I'll not even make it through the whole thing.
Right.
And then a week later it'll come on because it was in my algorithm earlier, and I'll be in a different mood and I'll let it play through. And then a week later it'll come on again, and then I'm searching for it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like my most listened to song of the month somehow.
Right.
because there's a part that's offbeat, or I'm expecting the note to go up when it goes down, or it falls out of key for a minute, and that ends up being my favorite part of the song.
Right. Yeah, and like, so I started listening to music a different way when I started doing the production course, and like now I listen to it in sections. You know what I mean? Like now I know how to single things out, and I'm not just because before it was just all lyrics,
Right.
right? It was from a writer's standpoint. How can I better this?
Right.
Right. But now I listen to stuff like that's why I love Queen. It's like I always love them for the talent, but like when you start breaking stuff down, like Bohemian Rhapsody is 8 songs, but it's one song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's got 5 time signatures. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's wild the stuff they were doing back then. So how can we do it now? You know what I mean? But without it being corny or without it being overproduced and without it, you know what I mean? Without the saturation.
I think you hit it right on the head. Without it being corny, you have to not try to do it. It has to be natural.
Yeah.
And that's when you get songs that, like you said, maybe aren't in your mind at this moment the best for sitting and listening to at home, but good for performing.
Yep.
But then as that song that's not easy to listen to at home becomes easier to listen to.
Right. And every song is for something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's very situational. It's where you are, what you're going through. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
With why specifically, a lot of guys that were in the position I was relate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I woke up with Bell's palsy.
Okay.
In 2012, and it took a lot for me. It took my boxing. It took half my face at the time. Like I couldn't talk and shit.
Okay.
And I didn't know what it was from. Was it from partying? Was it from the physical abuse? Was it a combination of both? You know what I mean? But one day, like it all got taken away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then now with this writing, it's like I worked just as hard mentally as I did physically for all those years, and now I have something else.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it doesn't matter. Like I respect guys like Jelly Roll. He's been doing it forever. Becomes #1 artist at what, 40, 39 years old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it shows me at 35 that there's still hope.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm a white rapper named Dalton that lives in Owen Sound.
Right.
Statistically, the odds aren't great. You know what I mean?
Truth.
That being said, Aubrey did it.
Yep.
Okay.
Aubrey did do it.
You know what I mean?
So from that standpoint, Aubrey did it from the Canadian whatever.
Right.
But then Conway did it from your other ailment.
Right.
And is still doing it. And I don't think he looks like he's recovered from it, but he's up there on stage with no vocals in his track. You can understand every single word he's saying.
Right.
And you feel the music. And that's the most important part. I've seen him live 2 or 3 times, and you feel that music up there.
Oh, 100%. And like, it's so important to get the message across for me. So like when I met you on that show, I was going through the ringer. I was having a bunch of my teeth shatter within my own face. I just got diagnosed with TMJ.
So this was Swifty or Lost Cause?
The Lost Cause show on tour. Yeah. So like I was dealing with a whole bunch of physical problems, and then like I got addicted to the pills I was on. Right. So now I'm doing painkillers and muscle relaxers like Skittles just to get through the day.
Yeah.
Right. Since then, I got 11 teeth pulled. I've got a bunch of dental work done since then. I'm getting my new ones in the next couple of months. So like progress, but it's been a struggle to try and perform. Right. That's why school was so important. It's like, I'm going to get this school in.
Yeah.
Right. Because I can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was going to ask. I wanted to dig in a little bit more about the whole school thing. The reason why you decided to go down that route.
My wife. Yeah, my wife is 100% the reason I went to school. So like, I'm a grade 8 dropout before that. I've been working my whole life. I've always had a job. I've always had a 9 to 5. Like making money was the option.
Right.
Right. And like where I grew up in Malton. I don't know if anyone knows where that is.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't even a town no more.
It's just
Nope.
the airport.
Right? It got dummied. It's good that it's not a town no more because it didn't have a good rep. But like, but yeah, no, that's where I'm from. So like,
Oh,
yeah, you know what I mean? I had to work just to
Mhm.
survive, you know what I mean? And like, that's not a knock against my parents. You know what I mean? Everyone's parents try, but like,
Mhm.
I lost my mom early to drinking. So like, we already kind of know the narrative, you know what I mean?
Right.
yeah.
So my wife, she really talked me into going to school, and like, I hummed and I hawed it for a minute, like for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But I was a garage door installer for years, and like my shoulders are just dusted after
Mhm.
fighting for so long, after doing garage doors. Now I've got a crack in my scapula, and like I can't do certain physical things.
Right.
Right.
And she's like, go to school and like see what you got.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I finished with honors, top of my class.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank
Salute.
you. Thank you so much. I listen. I couldn't have done it when I was young, but in my 30s, I came at it with the Kobe Bryant approach. I was the first one to class by hours. I was the last one to leave by hours,
Mm-hmm.
right? I rented a room off my sister at the time, and I would just work and work
Yep.
and work and work. And like I knew nothing about music theory
Mm-hmm.
when I started that. Now I know enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got an A in that class, and I knew nothing when I started.
Right.
Right? Like just the determination. Like Kobe Bryant is my idol. You know what I mean? So like I take that hard work and that determination and what it takes very seriously. If you're not working, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? It's back to like pushing your boundaries, right? Like I'm always working at the next step. Right?
So-
Whether it be production, whether it be visual arts, whether it be
Yeah.
like where's the gaps? Fill in the gaps, make that package, right?
So yeah, salute to you for not really knowing music theory at the beginning and then finishing with
Yeah.
honors, because
Thank you, man.
that does show that what you just said, the work that you put in was
It's detrimental. Like I wasn't going to fail. I wasn't paying all this money to fail.
Nope.
and also shout out to Mrs. 90 for
Yeah.
for
Thank
being
you.
For being that
supportive,
rock.
helping it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I write for her too. She was a singer in school and stuff. Like
Okay.
her little town in Markdale had a choir, and it was her and the principal.
Right on.
Yeah. Right. So like she always wanted to sing, but she didn't have the family. Like she came from a family of fighters. Like her
Okay.
dad's a 4th degree, her mom's a 4th degree, brother's a kickboxer. Like her
Okay.
name's Katana.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like fighting's in the blood, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of why when we met, we hit it off so much. It's my best friend's little sister,
Okay.
so like things kind of fell together naturally in that retrospect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But with the music, she is a phenomenal singer. She just doesn't know how to use the instrument
Right.
because she wasn't encouraged to,
Okay.
right? So like, I've been actually working with a duo group up here called Nuclear Vibes. And
Okay.
I'm trying to get singing lessons from them because the female vocalist from that group is a singing teacher.
That's awesome.
So I was like, I'll trade you some production stuff
Mm-hmm.
in exchange for some vocal lessons. Cause like I can sing a little bit, but like I sing like Chad Kroger.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like I know how to do one thing pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I don't have range, but I got rasp and I can do that. And
Yeah.
that's kind of
It
my
works.
niche. Yeah, it works. Right. Whereas she has the range, she just doesn't know how to get there. She's like, I
Mhm.
see the ladder, but I don't know how to climb it yet.
So here's an idea for you. I know you have an option, but another option I'd like to present to you is the Resilient Music Academy.
Okay.
These courses are done online, virtually. She's amazing. She has won many awards. Her name is Madette. So Resilient Musician Academy. She teaches all around Canada virtually. For those students who are in the city yearly or maybe quarterly or every other quarter, she'll have like a little concert to just show like what her students are at. But
Yep.
with her course, I'm talking with experience. I've gone through it a few times as I am a singer, and
Yeah.
I went through jazz training, and
Okay.
then had a band, and then I stopped, and then met Jay and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I stopped that actual training, and so I got to a point as one gets older, I started noticing some differences in my vocal ranges, and I
Yeah.
wasn't as happy as I was 7 to 8 years ago, and I was
Right.
frustrated,
Yeah.
very frustrated, because I'm like, I could do it then. Why am I struggling right now?
Well, you
And
stopped
so
using
when,
your instrument.
and when I met her when I worked at SOCAN, so that's the Society of Composers, Authors, and Music Publishers of Canada.
Yeah.
We became really good friends there, and we performed together. So our vocal ranges really, really matched. So it was a lot of fun when we would do a duet and shit. But anyway, I reached out to her, and she was like, you know what, Natalie, why don't we try this? With her sessions, it's not a lot of singing. It's a lot of almost mental, there's meditation that's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're just going through just basic vocal drills.
Right.
You're not even really truly focusing on, I want to be able to sing this song.
Right.
No, she's going to make you notice the differences week by week on how far you're able to push your vocal range. So your woman, I'd love to talk to her because she kind of sounds a little bit like what I was going through. And with that little nudge that she did, I did 2 years worth of her sessions. They're very cost efficient. She works with you.
Right.
But it gave me the energy and the belief back that I could hold
confidence is huge.
That's huge. I mean,
huge.
I had a band. I had no problem singing in front of people. Jay, you can attest to that. I had no issues.
No, but the confidence you need within yourself to know what you're capable of and know what you're producing is a whole different thing.
It's huge.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah.
And I lost that. And so when I went back and did these sessions with her, I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Right.
And I'm ever so grateful for that, because now that I released a track with Sick and Diamond MC8. It was just released back in March, called Stylistic. Yeah. It's a really, really fun song, but I haven't released a song since 2018.
Right.
So I was in my head for a long time. And COVID sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked the whole time. Like, I didn't get the break that everyone got. I still had to go door to door and slang garage doors because I was mandatory.
I wish I knew you then. I would have helped save your shoulders, man.
Oh.
I owned recording studios that I was paying rent on that wasn't allowed to have customers come in. So you can imagine how that mathed out for me.
It hurt.
Yeah. I was doing 70-hour weeks just in garage doors, traveling all over Ontario, and then putting like 20 hours into recording sessions on top of it to get my album done.
I was learning recycling routes and taking beer cans out of people's blue boxes.
Yeah, that's
wow. And that album you're talking about, that's your 2023 album, isn't it?
Yeah, Memory Lane.
Memory Lane.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? We could probably chat for another hour and a half, so I just want to respect your time.
That's fair.
But I want you to do us a favor. We ask everybody this. You need to, let's see, we're at 43 minutes. I don't know what we're going to cut and what you guys are going to do, but I want you to give us 5 songs that you want us to play with the show tonight. It could be something of yours, something of Lost Cause. It could be something that gave you the passion to do what you're doing now and to continue to do it, whatever it is. Just 5 songs. You can tell us now, or you can just message it to Jay, and we'll be sure to include it in the recording and in the post that we do, the social media post that we do the night of the airing.
All right, I'm going to send you those 5.
That's a good plan.
I'm not. Yeah, telling me to pick 5 of anything on the spot is.
We don't do quick time respond here.
But I'm
Man's
still
like, hey,
gonna
I need a
your,
picture for the promo, and I said, here's 3. I can't pick.
Nat, I'll send you all 3 of them because I couldn't pick either.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think the one in front of the big
In front of the
touring
board?
console,
Yeah.
but I'll let Nat decide. She's
Okay.
our poster.
So that is the board that Justin Bieber's first album was recorded on.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So what studio was that in?
The Orange Lounge in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually like part of the course I went to. We went there and like a bunch of students got to record their final there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So like I opted to do it myself because I felt that was cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I have access to like here, I'll give you a quick. So like I didn't have any music equipment 2 years ago.
I got you.
Ooh, you got the X32.
Ooh.
You know?
You got a beautiful setup, brother. It's a beautiful setup.
So do you take the X32 out for your live stuff as well?
So this is actually the Carnivore Media board. I'm just greedy.
Okay.
And I warehouse it here for Ninth Dimension Studios.
That's a big
So like
recording.
a big separator between a lot of producers is they do everything digital.
Yeah.
I like bringing an analog component to things, and even it being simple as like it is a digital board, but you walk into a studio or a home studio and you see something like that, and it changes a lot of artists' perspective on what you do versus what they do.
Totally. So I had like, I guess the predecessor to that, which was the Midas Venice.
Okay. Yep.
320, I think it was a 32 channel Midas.
Right.
And I bought it from Revival Nightclub.
Okay.
When they upgraded to digital.
Right.
And I put it in my studio when I had the first one that I had in Oshawa. And I didn't run anything through it, but that's what everybody took a picture in front of.
Right?
Yeah.
So like I use it to balance the room.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have a vocal booth that I set up, and it's got dampening mats and it's got soundproofing in it and stuff. And like I recorded all of Wayward's Brain Damage album here.
Okay.
And like I got a 70-gallon fish tank, and you can't hear it when it's running in that booth.
That's awesome.
And it's 4 feet away.
Sweet.
Right? Like just making it work with light. It's actually my wife's biggest TikTok video. I think she got like a few thousand views on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's just us making it out of PVC pipe. I just kind of like drew one up and I've rigged it together. I'll show you real quick.
What do you like to what mic you record with?
I've got a few. I like running Apex because of my vocals. It really presents that rasp well. Right, because it's a brighter mic. But
what number?
I've got the 430 and the 445. And then I have this.
The first condenser I ever bought when I was 19 was an Apex 420.
Okay.
And I think Shizzy has it now.
I don't remember what number this is. The AT 4050. This is on the Fritz right now. Unfortunately, I got to get it looked at. But this is what I would run normally for my mains and stuff. And then when I'm doing harmonies and stuff and my ad-libs and stuff where I want that extra rasp, right, where I don't have to be as clear, I would use the Apex stuff.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, well, that's a pretty nice setup you got.
Thanks, man.
I think it's a great environment for
and like be organized.
Oh yeah.
Learn how to wrap your cables. I hate dealing with artists that don't know how to wrap a cord.
You know what? Artists that don't know how to wrap a cord is fine. Technicians that don't know how to wrap a cord is something else.
So like that's fair, but that's also not acceptable.
That's what I mean.
Right? Like so no, I do a lot of shows with guys that like do their own thing. And then they'll be like, here's this rat's nest of cords.
Yeah, here, sort this spaghetti before you set it up for me 10 minutes before we're supposed to have doors.
Right?
Oh, by the way, here's my memory stick. You have to go into 10 different folders to find my songs. Drake X Future type beat.
Label your shit. Number your shit. That's so important. Don't run over your set time.
Well, yeah, as we talked about earlier, the energy that I had at that show on Saturday, I had a lot of people message me like, holy shit, Jay, like you were into that. That's awesome.
Right.
You should do it all the time. And I said, Honestly, what kills that is if I have to sort someone's files after the show starts while I'm on stage.
Yeah.
I can't get into it if I'm like organizing files for the next guy while I can't rap along with you while I'm, what song does this guy want? I need that a day ahead, or like at least before we have doors.
Right.
So if anybody comes on stage while someone's performing, there's probably a good chance I'm in a bad mood the rest of the night, and I'm not going to be singing along with anybody, no matter how good it is.
Right.
And that happens at least half of the shows.
So like in some cases it's a learning curve, and like you'll notice when it's a learning curve, I find, right? Like you've been doing it long enough, so you'd be like, oh, these guys just don't know. Right. But then that gets old quick too.
Oh, it gets super old quick, and
We're right.
you can message days in advance, and it's like I run live sound for bigger events that aren't these hip hop shows, and I can guarantee you these guys aren't switching up the set list after they hit the stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we have 15,000 people for Michelle Montano and he has a soca band on stage with like 26 people, they're not switching up the order halfway through.
Nah, that shit's regimented. It's done. Yeah.
And I don't know why our stuff has to be that way.
See, I've worked with the good, bad, and the ugly. And like I've seen what works and I've seen what doesn't. Ultimately, like I said before, like you can just tell the hard work and where people are willing to put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's some of the artists in Lost Cause that aren't so much show related because that's not what they gravitate to.
Right.
Right? But then they're like, I'm really good at promotion, so like let me take that over.
Right.
Right? So it's like if an artist can't be the complete package, right? Then fill in the gaps for the group.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like kind of like what Wu-Tang does, like not to compare us to Wu-Tang because God. But you know what I mean? Like the motto is kind of that. It's like everyone can be their own thing. And when we work together, we can be a unit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we still all have a similar sound that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And there's lots of us.
How many?
So the roster fluctuates, I will say, just like any collective.
Yeah.
There's probably 20 of us.
Oh, wow. It's really grown then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. And like, yeah, we like, there's people in Alberta now. Like, there's people that are affiliated. There's people that like just rock with us. There's full on members. Like, there's a spectrum of how things work now. Right. And it's super cool. And there's like a few entities that work within Lost Cause, like, and we all kind of picked up businesses to fill in where we needed it. Right. So like Carnivore Media is run by an artist by the name of Wendigo.
Yep.
And he's my mentor as far as sound goes, because he's been doing production and shit for years and had real life experience.
He quite often is who's running the sound when I've done the shit at the Harp. If not him, what's his name? I like that
Brent?
guy a lot too. Shit.
Brent?
The gray noise guy.
Oh, Devin.
He's so nice.
He's such a sweetheart. I call him Jimmy Neutron.
He's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, love that guy. I actually did some freelance work. Him and
he's got a really nice studio, eh?
His studio's wild. So when an
artist
artist
you expect at all.
Yeah, man. So when an artist is like, dude, I like the home setup, but like, can we do it bigger? I'll rent out
his spot, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be like, Devin, no, I'm gonna engineer today, or like I'll get Devin to engineer, you know what I mean? I actually have a song coming out with him.
Shout out the new dad, Devin.
Yeah, man. I love that guy. He actually just hooked me up with another freelance gig.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
And that's how I think once people get past their egos initially when they come into the game, they realize that all of these people who do similar things to you aren't your competition.
Yeah.
They're your support base.
So like, yes and no. So there's healthy competition. So I'm all about pushing each other.
Definitely.
Right? Like if we're doing a song together, oh, you're rewriting your verse. I promise. Twice. Right? Like that's always the goal for me, because like I want to challenge and I want it to be the best of the project.
Yeah.
Right? But you're not wrong. Like it's not a competition. Like my numbers versus your numbers, your sales versus my sales, your fan base. Like it's not about that.
Like the way that I think it's good that people that live in proximity, like you and Devin, can recognize like what projects are good to work on together and what's a good fit, and then you take it to a slightly larger geographical area, like what we just spoke about before we hit record, where I know that there is an event that's coming towards your area. You guys offer a similar service to me, and I think you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
System, we're not competing for it.
It's a community, right? And like that was actually one of the questions when I was talking to you through message. I was like, I'm gonna have some questions for you, and it's like,
fire away.
In the industry, dude. Like, when did it become a competition? When did the community stop being a community and everyone became eye for an eye? You know what I mean? Because I remember back in the day, like, it was about putting on, it was about the team, right? And then like early 2000s, that stopped, and it was all about me.
I don't know
if it just hasn't really come back.
The only time I ever experienced, like, because I've got a bit of a different music background than a lot of people,
right?
The only way that I ever saw it like working as a team and like community was when I played in orchestras and big bands.
Okay.
I always saw the pop, hip hop, rock, indie, whatever you call it, I saw it as very cutthroat, like always, like from the very beginning.
Right, very dry.
The orchestra stuff, I'm sure, is at like a business level, but when you're just playing like third trombone, you play your part and compliment the trumpet on how he's playing, and then you go home at the end.
right. Yeah. Good game, slap on the ass, and carry on.
But at that point, you're only an artist. I think maybe to answer it on the spot without thinking of this prior, to answer your question, is when artists had to become promoters, managers, booking agents, engineers. When it became a do-it-yourself thing, people who are into arts are typically soft, and if you have to be a business person, they're sharks.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're going to play the balance of artist and business guy, you got to be both a little bit.
Right. So you're not wrong. Like when I'm wearing my production hat and I'm wearing my artist hat, they are very much different.
And that could be back to the timing that you said too. Like early 2000s is when home recording becomes affordable. And everyone starts to do it themselves, and I can upload stuff to MySpace. I don't need a label anymore.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're half an artist, half a business guy.
Right. Yeah, and like I tell people all the time, is like with the modern day narrative on Spotify, like I don't have a huge following or anything, right? I'm a t-shirt salesman. I make all my money as an artist selling merch. Right now, as a producer, I make money for that, but as an artist, like all my return investment is in what I sell for gear.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's where being a creative has, like, you got to have that hat.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Right. Like there has to be, like, there's so many artists that have just a logo. You know what I mean? Not a lot. My wife and kid made me this. It's adorable. So this is ego. That's where I left my ego on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Where he belongs. He doesn't need to be, you know what I mean? If I'm going to carry around an ego, it's going to be on my shirt.
That's dope.
Right. And like just exploring that avenue. Like mascots haven't been a thing since the 90s. Like not for the most part. They snuffed out Ronald McDonald. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff has kind of gone away. You know, so like try to bring some of that flavor in instead of just this papyrus style font logo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the reality of it. How many papyrus font or how many docs of the world are there?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like there's so many overlaps.
Definitely.
Right. So like it's just about standing out in a lot of ways, you know.
For sure. I forgot that when we initially chatted, you said you'd have some questions for us too. So fire away, sir.
Yeah. So if you guys were to give advice to a new artist, and like I want Zach to chime in on this too, because I very much respect his artistry after seeing him in London. If you had to give just a piece of advice, like a just a quote, or you know what I mean, a statement for an artist who's about to start, what would it be?
That's a very interesting question that I feel like is asked a lot, and I feel like I need more context. Like,
So, like, from
is
what's
someone who's
something you wish you knew when you first started, right? Because there are so many mysteries for when I started. Like, I didn't know what the hell to expect,
when
right?
I just like, do you mean when I started writing raps, or when I decided I just wanted to take it seriously? Like,
Take it seriously.
oh, okay.
Yeah, take that next step, right? Because everyone can just sit here and write in the basement. But, like, when you want to go public and when you want to be on, like, platforms and stuff, like, what's that one piece of advice that would you
I
wish
think
you had?
This is gonna get deep. Oh my god, my cat's getting crazy with my mic and shit. What are you doing? All right, yo, this is gonna get real. All right, figure out what it is that is causing you to want this, because I think, especially in the space of hip hop, there are a lot of people that have a lot of insecurities and self doubts that they're projecting onto things that make them feel cool, like rapping, and I learned a lot of. I'm going to be real. I learned about a lot of this in therapy, and I think a lot of people do this for not great reasons. And then I think there's others that do it to inspire people and uplift people, and because they want to like be the example of, you know, someone who can create and do cool shit. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to why you want to do it, and understand that it's going to be a goddamn journey, and not an easy one. And you also have to understand that you have to be cool with being like broke and putting everything into this, and that has your desire to be a successful musician has to outweigh the desire to not do that.
Yep. I very much respect that. So my business teacher in school said, if you're not willing to lose $500 on a show, then you're in the wrong business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you're not willing to lose $5,000 a year and for 20 years.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, I very much respect that answer.
That's on the light end, if you actually want to take it serious.
Right.
Yeah, like people, I think the advice that I would give is not to ever do anything for money.
Yeah.
If you need to make money, get a job doing something. Don't sit down and say, how can I make music that's going to make me money? Because I can tell you right now, it's going to be shit.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're not going to make money, and it's going to be a waste of your time and anybody that you try to show the music to.
Right. I'm all for the side hustle, but not like, don't try to make it a priority, because that's not realistic. You know what I mean?
It also you have to be making music for a long time before you consider that. It has to be like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of kids I see now that just pick up rapping like, I'm gonna be a famous rapper. That's crazy. Like,
crazy.
That's insane.
Crazy.
You probably see it now because you're recording people. Yeah. When I owned the studios, I would have guys come in all the time, and before they would even start recording their song, they'd talk about like the cars they're gonna rent for the video, and like how we're gonna be so rich and all this stuff. And then they get in the booth and they can't make it through 4 bars. It's like, you're here for the wrong reasons. I'm still gonna take your money, and you're gonna waste my afternoon, but you're not here for the right reason at all.
Yeah. No, see, that's why I love what Zach said there. He's like, there's a very definitive line on the two different types of people. You're either doing this for the clout and the toxic reasons, you know what I mean? Or you're doing it for the positivity, right? And that line is within the people who see it, it's very definitive, right? Yeah. Like, and that's like what I respected about Zach when I first saw him, is like, this dude stood out on the openers of that show because that's what those other openers were, right? Like, don't get me wrong, this is Faker in a spray tan.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing all right, but this is Faker in a spray tan. You know what I mean? I don't mind wearing costume jewelry, right? Right. And like, I respect that authenticity of it. You know what I mean? And like, I don't care if people be like, "Oh, that's fake as shit," like that's the first thing I said to Malone. He's like, "How much that run you?" I was like, $18 on Temu, my guy. Right? If a girl can get all dolled up and she don't actually look like that at the end of the night, why can't I wear this false advertisement? Get out of here.
I didn't even notice it, to be honest, until you mentioned it. So
No, but you know what I mean, though. Like it's just
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a jewelry guy. It's never been my. I don't know. I think it's actually nuts when like I just read a book. I read Prodigy's autobiography, and he was talking about how like all he cared about was jewelry and rapping. And I'm like, oh, I don't understand the jewelry thing, but okay.
so I didn't have it growing up, so I always wanted it. Like I remember getting the Double XL magazine and seeing who's on the cover and what piece they had on. You know what I mean? But I wasn't trying to drop like $500,000 on a chain that says big ass chain. You know what I mean? Some ridiculous dumb shit. But I appreciated how it looked.
Yeah.
Right. So I met in the middle. I appreciate how this looks, but I ain't willing to pay for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got real ones that are much more subtle.
Yeah.
What Prodigy and Havoc from Mobb Deep used to do when they signed with 50 Cent, all the jewelers that came around to try and give 50 Cent stuff. I mean, 50 Cent didn't care about jewelry, so then Mobb Deep would just slide in and be like, "Hey, we should be friends."
What up?
You know. And yeah, that's how that worked for them.
That's put them in their place era, Mobb Deep.
Right?
Yeah, that was a good era. I mean, all their eras were good eras, but fuck. Yeah, that's a good book. I recommend both you two. I'll bring it over. If we record, if we practice this weekend, Jay, I'll bring it for you. If not, then the weekend that we go up to Kingston, I'll definitely bring it for you because I just finished it.
Sounds good.
You said it's an autobiography?
Yeah, he wrote it while he was in prison.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he pissed a lot of people off.
I could understand why. He told some. Yeah, there's some stories.
Because I guess when you're sitting in the box, you're like, everyone else is out there. Like, what do I have to lose right now? Like, this is my reality.
That was the best hip hop biography period, like let alone autobiography. I also recently wrote. I read stop doing this with the mic.
He loves that mic.
Yeah, he loves he's a weird fucking cat, man. 50 Cent, From Pieces to Weight. It was about his childhood selling crack. It was good. But yeah, I can bring you both those books if you want, Jay.
Another one that I loaned to someone that I never got back that I really enjoyed. I think it was from like 1998, and he could probably write a second one because it's been that many years since then. LL Cool J, I Make My Own Rules.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good.
It's an autobiography, and he talks about like, you know, his biological father shooting his grandfather, and then like how bad his stepdad was, and like then how bad he was to women throughout the 80s and early 90s. And it's a pretty honest book. I loved it.
Yeah, people don't see him how ruthless he really was.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like LL was like that guy, even though he wasn't portrayed as that guy. You know what I mean?
Like if you think about it, he was kind of like sort of the Drake of his time, right? Like,
oh, 100%.
You know, the Onyx fans weren't taking him seriously, but he was getting more women than anybody else.
Right. Oh yeah, no, he was definitely the ladies' man of that era for sure.
I've been listening today. I'm probably gonna listen to the rest tomorrow. Will Smith was on Drink Champs last week.
I'm in the middle of it too.
And the conversations that he's having, I mean, nobody that I can think of has been through the public ringer worse than this guy in the last 3 years. And he is bringing 3 years worth of the best therapy money can buy.
Right.
This Drink Champs episode, and I'm soaking up every word.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And like,
who is this again?
Will Smith.
Yeah. So like, I grew up on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up watching Fresh Prince
mm-hmm.
and basketball. My son's name is Will. My daughter's name is Kobe. I just had
awesome.
a third biological daughter, and her name is Briar from Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
right? Because me and my wife are Disney geeks, and all the kids love Disney and shit. And then my
That's awesome.
oldest is named Deja, and she's actually named for another Disney princess in John Carter.
Okay.
Yeah. So like very symbolic names that tested our childhoods.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I see our recording time's getting up there.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've got some music to play too.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where they can follow you on the socials.
So it's Music by 90 everywhere on TikTok, Instagram. I've got it everywhere. I've got a website as well, musicby90.com. It's actually going through construction right now because we're adding the studio page and stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna make Ninth Dimension Studios a whole page and do a whole bunch of stuff for that and like offer our services and stuff. And you can also find Ninth Dimension Studios on all socials. I don't have TikTok for it yet because just haven't got there. I'm trying to grow my artist one still. I'm not even at 1,000 yet.
Every other month anyway.
Right. And just when I started making headway, they're like, "No, we're gonna start banning it." I was like, "I'm almost at 1,000. Thanks, I appreciate y'all." But yeah, no, it's Music by 90 across all platforms if you want to check me out, and I'm on all streaming services. So yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with us this evening.
No, thanks for having me, man. Once I saw the homie Prime do it, I was like, I need to get in there.
So you're actually the third lost cause, no, fourth, because we've interviewed Jonas and Chris Rowan as well.
Yeah, Eli. Yeah.
Pre-video days.
Right. Actually, I think you mentioned that in the Prime one.
Yeah.
I actually have a song coming out on the next album with SVS. It's called Dark Days. I'm pumped about it.
So look forward to that. Follow him everywhere. And if you wouldn't mind just sticking on the line with us for a couple minutes so we can upload.
Yeah, man.
Until next week, everybody. Keep fit. Oh, this is going to be our last show of the spring radio season. We have to submit an application again. We are going to try to get the same day and same time, but it could be a different day. So follow our socials and we'll tell you when next week's episode will be. But we'll be back.
Boom.
I don't think they'll turn us down. We've been here since '98. Peace.